Just want to start off by thanking Hokie Nation for an unbelievable run of having tremendous crowds all season long. 5 or 6 sellouts and great student section. Just appreciate it so much. It means the world to the staff, the players, and really important to what we're trying to do here. So awesome environment. Wish we had another one. Wish we'd played better the other night. For the fan base, for those seniors, we didn't do enough good things. So unfortunate. Excited about the Virginia game for a lot of reasons. It meant a lot to me when I was here. I was part of 3 of them. And unbelievable experience and great memories. 103, 104th time we're playing. I just love the rivalry in college football, and this is one of the best ones out there. And, Tony's done a great job getting his team trending in the right direction, winning some big games. Got some guys that are getting better as you watch the season unfold. I got a lot of respect for him and his staff. But, I'm excited. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great competition. Our guys are certainly looking forward to it. We just know how much this game means to them, to the staff, to the fan base, to so many people across the state of Virginia. So looking forward to it. Questions?
Questions for Coach Andy? Any specific memories stand out from your time first run here in that series?
Yeah, that 95 game. I just remember the Sugar Bowl reps were on their sideline for most of the game. And then all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, they're on ours. They had jumped out on us, and we battled our way back and pick-sixed it to close it out. Then we played pretty good here the next year in 96 at our place. Played good defense. I think they had under 10 points on the day. So. And then my last year, we went over there, and they got us in 97. So, but, yeah, good memories.
When you go back, review the game from before, I know game circumstances sort of forced you to throw the ball. Do you look at 2 touches for Bashaw and go, that just can't happen again? You need to get the ball.
Yeah, we talked about it. We don't want that. We got to find ways to get him the ball even in those situations. And he was awesome. He was really good about it. But, for us and our production and, he's got to be part of what we do.
What's Kelly Lawson's status after not playing the last 3 quarters?
Yeah, he's questionable. Again, today's the first day we get to kind of really see where they're at. We got a couple guys that way.
This is the first time your group's heading to Charlottesville since what happened last year with their program. Have you had a chance to talk to Tony about that? And is there anything planned special for that since, it's been a little more than a year since what happened in Charlottesville?
No, we haven't talked, this particular season about it. We certainly spoke and had some outreach last year at this time, but no, we haven't spoken this year.
You had a chance to talk to Fontel about going back to his alma mater and what that means for him?
Yeah, he's excited just like everybody. There's all kinds of storylines to the game. And, he's a true Hokie right now, I'll tell you that. And, he wants to win this game as much or more than anybody. So I'm excited about that for him. It just adds to the rivalry.
And when you go back and think of this rivalry, you said it's one of the best in college football. What makes it that way in your mind, the battle for the Commonwealth Cup?
I think there's a couple things. I think, playing over 100 times, there's just a lot of stories, a lot of history, a lot of people that have been part of a lot of games over decades. And then there's so many common threads, families that have somebody go to UVA and somebody else come to Tech. A lot of guys that played together or played against one another. One of them ends up at Tech, one ends up at UVA. There's just a lot of familiarity with the 2 programs.
Let's go back there with David, and then we'll go Eric.
Coach, when you were at Penn State, where there's no shortage of Big Ten rivalries, what did you learn about managing players and their emotions, using their rivalry to motivate but not let it get too out of hand and try to keep things a little normal?
Yeah, I want our guys excited. They're fired up. They're fired up today. I think it's, it's about still let's execute, let's have good practice. There's things we have to do to help us get ready to play a good game. But, I don't know that we managed them really. You want the guys practicing as hard as hard as they can and going fast and being excited and the right mindset. And I think a good rivalry game just adds to it.
Coach, you alluded to it there just a bit, but they seem to be a team that's better than what their record
Absolutely.
shows. What stands out on tape in terms of those moments in which they do find consistency?
Yeah, I think they've got several guys that can make plays. You know, they've got 2 wideouts. They got a quarterback, really 2 quarterbacks that are pretty good players. You know, they've been able to establish the run at times. I think their defensive line is physical and stout. You don't see anybody really moving them around. They play fast, you know, at the second level with their linebackers. They jump in some different looks. I think they're perimeter guys. They got a couple of young guys, but it's like I tell our guys, by the end of the season, you're not a freshman anymore. You know, so I think they're opportunistic. They've had some timely takeaways, and they've had some timely big plays on offense that have given them the opportunity to beat some folks and be right there, you know, in some tight games.
You take the talent level away and the scheme is a little bit different. You feel like you look into a mirror just a little bit in terms of both offenses, the makeup of them, guys that are capable to get it done at the skill
Yeah,
position?
maybe so. I mean, I like our group for sure. You know, they do some things differently on both sides of the ball than what we do. But, you know, Tony's a good football coach, and he's been around good coaches. And he's got a good staff. And I think, you know, it's a testament to you just keep working and you keep trying to get guys better week in and week out and tweak your schemes to maximize strengths. And, you know, and I think, you know, they've done a good job of that.
Malik Washington is sort of lapping the field in ACC production for receivers. What do they do with him that makes him so effective, or what does he do that has stood out this year to you?
He certainly, you know, is a quality route runner, and he's got some balls down the field that he's caught, you know, for some big explosive plays. But to me, he's most dangerous just catching a short to intermediate and breaking tackles and running through tackles. I think him and the quarterback, number 10, are both hard to tackle one-on-one. They just prove it week in and week out against whoever they're playing. You know, Ford, to me, is built a little bit like a tailback. He's got a body type that's, I mean, he runs through a lot of tackles. You can't arm tackle that guy.
When you go back and look at the film from NC State in terms of run defense, did you sense anything like, I mean, held them 4 yards to carry, but did you sense anything where maybe second, third level where guys weren't getting the fits, where Armstrong was able to get off some big runs or Concepcion was able to get an edge?
Yeah, basically they did a nice job with some misdirection stuff. You know, we lost our eyes and we were short a guy too many snaps where we needed to be. And that's by not reading your keys and being in the right place. And I also give them credit for just, you know, coming up with some misdirections that are tough on second-level players. You know, when I think about our linebackers and our safeties, the guys that are responsible for those second-level fits, we just haven't had the consistency, but we also haven't been healthy enough just to play with the same group week in and week out, practice week in and week out together. You know, so we're trying like crazy to make sure that happens this week to the best of our ability.
Even with Kelly being questionable, what does the rotation look like? Do you look at a guy like George Balance who has
We're
only
talking
played-
about all that.
So everyone
Talked about Asen Stevens, talked about George Balance. You know, you got McDonald's that had, you know, he's had an injury that's kept him hampered and limited and out of games. And then, of course, Kelly has had his deals, and Tisdale has had his. And then the safety room, we're going to send Coach Prelo out there in a blue jacket today because I think 4 of those guys are, you know, right now questionable. So.
And when you look at, you mentioned Calandria, number 10. As a freshman, have you ever seen a freshman play with as much confidence as he does? Because it looks like nothing really phases him.
Yeah, I don't know if I've, you know, I don't want to say I haven't, but I'm impressed with his confidence. He's a competitor. You can tell he loves the game. You know, he'll make you miss. He'll try and run you over. He's a very confident young player, which I'm sure they're excited about that aspect of it.
It seems like there's a pretty big difference between going 5 and 7, going 6-6 in a season. How important for this program and the trajectory of this program would it be to get to a bowl game this year?
Yeah, I think it's an awesome opportunity for us. Number one, we're playing our rival. We want to certainly come out of that thing victorious. And number two, an opportunity to play again. Keep all these guys together. The practices for all the guys that will return are invaluable, especially for the young guys. But an opportunity to keep getting better, another chance to go play another opponent and keep kind of pushing this thing forward. We need every opportunity we can get right now to play and to practice. When you're in a rebuild, and especially you got 50 guys, young guys you signed over the last 2 years, you need every rep that you can get. And bowl opportunity is great for that. And I want it for our fan base. I know how well we travel, what it means to our fan base, to make postseason play.
Is that from a perception standpoint? Is that signal that the program is further along if you do get to that bowl game versus if not, even if the difference might not be that much?
Maybe from a perception standpoint. Again, I think we'll evaluate everything at the end of the season, and we've certainly made progress and have improved in a bunch of areas. And there's areas we know we still got work to do. As coaches and players. I know it requires a lot of patience, but rebuilds aren't easy, and they do take time, especially when you're trying to do it on the backs of high school players. Development is key, and it doesn't happen overnight.
Let's go to Zoom for a couple.
On Zoom, please use the raise hand feature to ask questions, and please ask no more than 2 questions per turn. We'll try and get everybody in. Let's start with David Teal, please.
Brent, after the game Saturday, you mentioned that Concepcion was the type of player that you kind of had to gear your defensive game plan to. He's a small slot guy just like Washington. Is Washington somebody you're going to have to gear some things toward?
Did you say, is he a guy like that?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we have to know where he is. And they do use him in a very similar way. Lots of motions. I don't know that he's been in the backfield as much, but, he cross motion, full motion, short motion, rebound motion. He's doing a lot of that stuff. They get him the ball in the flat. They get him the ball out of the backfield. They get him the ball, intermediate, short. He's out there, running slants and digs and then occasionally takeoffs. So, they do a lot with him. I can understand the production he's had. That offense really runs through that guy.
Thank you.
We'll go to Hank next, please.
Hey, Brent. You seem like an emotional guy. Second year, just like Tony Elliott. What do you imagine about the way he's had to deal with, the killing of 3 kids last year, the kid who had spinal surgery this year? How do you imagine that goes with a coach and a program and all that stuff?
Yeah, I can't imagine it. I haven't been in that situation. And heart certainly went out to Tony, his staff, and the entire team. I think it tugged on everybody's hearts and, a great sense of sadness. This job is tough enough already. And so I can't imagine the layers of things that Tony and his staff had to work through, in their football family. So great respect for the job he's done and, the way his kids are playing right now. And, definitely a tough situation.
And when you look at this rivalry, I think you guys have won 17 of the last 18. Is there pressure on you to keep that going?
I think there's always pressure to beat UVA. Always. Doesn't matter the records, doesn't matter this, that, the other. They're right down the highway, and like I said, a ton of familiarity, and I know how much it means to everybody. I think you guys know I've been pretty much 1-0, 1-0. Well, this is a big 1-0, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Thanks, Brent.
Okay, man.
We'll go to Colby next, and then Mike.
Hey, Coach. On this UVA little run they've gotten on, a big part of their offense has been being able to jump out and start fast. How important is to sort of stifle that offense quickly and don't let them jump out to that start, get them off script early?
Yeah, I think it's going to be important. They definitely feed on confidence and feed on making positive plays. But I also think this is the type of game, it's going to be a 4-quarter game. And whether you start slow or fast, everybody's going to battle, to the end of this thing.
We'll go to Mike next, please.
Hey, Coach, I don't know how far you've gotten into situational stuff, but they struggled in short yardage early in the year, and now they have a package where they get under center with a reserve quarterback who's a little bit bigger, bring in an extra lineman. What have you seen from their short yardage offense if you've had a chance?
It's hard to stop. I just watched it with the Eagles last night. It's good stuff. Multiple linemen, they keep him protected where you can't get to him from the edges. It's hard to get to him over top because he's so low. It's challenging. I think it's almost like it's 1st and 9 every time, because if they only need one, they got a pretty good formula to get it.
And then a couple of weeks ago, they actually threw out of that formation and threw a touchdown pass to I guess he's like a running back, kind of fullback build. When a team shows that at some point, how does that impact your preparation?
Yeah, you have to defend the edges in that stuff. You have to have great eyes. Your coverage players have to play coverage. I saw them also. They've also ran an outside run out of that set. You think they're going to honk it up in the middle and they go off the edge on you, or they throw the football. So you got to defend everything, which is smart on their part.
Thank you.
We have time for 2 more. We'll go to Tim and then Steve, please.
And Brent, I wanted to ask about the kind of development of Quan Felton over the course of the season. Obviously, I think coming into the year, he thought that he might be more of a number 2 to Ali Jennings. That has not played out for obvious reasons. How have you seen him grow over the course of this year?
Yeah, first of all, I think you're absolutely right. He's gotten better each week. He's gotten better each ball game. He's tracking deep balls better. He's running better routes. He's blocking better. He's always been a really hard worker, so there's no doubt that the investment was going to pay off. He was probably the rawest from a technique and fundamental standpoint of those guys that we brought in at that position, so he had the most to kind of make up, but with that strong work ethic, he's done that.
Last on Zoom, we'll finish with Steve, please.
Brent, you following up a little on Hank's question there. Is UVA, do you think about their program more than maybe some of the other ACC programs just because of the recruiting and everything else? Are they on your mind a little more often over the season? And also, were the 2 games that you were coaching there, were those the first 2 times you'd been to a UVA Virginia Tech game?
Were they what? I'm sorry?
Were those the first UVA Virginia Tech games you attended? The ones that you
It
were
was,
coaching?
yeah. 95, 6, and 7. Yes, sir.
Okay.
And, we just read and see so much more about them. And we certainly deal with them a lot in recruiting. There's some other folks in the ACC that we seem to see a lot and hear a lot, from recruits or in our travels. But, certainly UVA is just in the similar news and in similar circles and talked about a lot. So we're certainly probably most aware of them.
Okay, thank you. We'll go back to Travis.
All right. Anything else for Coach? All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.